backpack. We're not even going to touch the backpack unless you want to. Because the backpack are slides for you to explain more detailed things. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with detail. I'm not going to take up your time that way. Hi, I'm Larry Thornton. I'm the founder of Main Game. As you can tell, I'm an old man. Maybe I'm not too glamorous. But you know what? I am. I'm actually very glamorous. Because and what has happened is I discovered, I'm a scientist, by the way, a physicist, University of California, Berkeley, and anthropologist. And I've been in business over the years, and I ran across a technology which led me to a place that allowed me to grow hair, to actually grow people's hair. And it doesn't use chemicals, it doesn't use anything outside in the bad world. And in doing that, I changed my view of the world. And I knew nothing about this business, absolutely. And I still am about as ignorant as you can get. But I have figured out some things. One thing I figured out, this is the glamour business. That's what everyone tells me, we're in the glamour business. So my question was, what's glamour? I mean, I'm an old, ugly man. I don't look very glamorous. And people tell me you overwhelm me, so what is glamour? Well, the dictionary, open up the dictionary, well, guess what? It's the word glamour comes from a word called glamouré. It's an old Scottish word and it means magic spells. It was introduced into the English language 300 years ago by Sir John
Walter Scott.
Walter Scott, yeah. And he used it to mean magic spells. Take care of it forward. Today, if you look up in the dictionary, it's about enchantment. It's about magic. It's about casting spells on people. And then I sit back and look at it, and I think about it. I look at these magazines with these glamorous people up on the front that are all dressed up in things I never thought, and I realized, yeah, I know exactly what's going on here now. They're spell casting. And if that's true, if they're spell casting, you guys are art directors. Now, follow this little short bit of logic. Everything I am and everything that you are resides behind your eyes in something that is self-aware, the cognitive thing that is you, that has feelings, emotions, pass through time, experience passions, love, hate, everything else, even apathy, anti-emotion. But this person, this thing that resides behind here, who's screaming to get out and tell our story about the world to everybody, is in case I got a tractor body. Some people get beautiful bodies, some people get life bodies. I got a tractor body. I've driven this thing around all over the world for 60 some odd years, and it's served me wherever I'm inside there throwing the levers, grinding, and I bump myself all the time, and I don't care about it because it's a tractor body. I have to, in order to get my way, and you have to, in order to get your way, seduce people. We cast spells on people. Me talking to you is spell casting. Yes, I'm a wizard in that sense. And each one of you are warlocks, wizards, witches, whatever you want to call it. Every person in the world casts spells. And that's how they reach out and get other people to communicate with them, to love them, to work with them, to do things with them. And that spell is all focused right here. This is where it all comes from. They say the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Your face has more muscles in it to be able to move itself around and be in different shapes. Our eyes are so well attuned that I can look into your face and you can do that kind of whatever it is that you are doing at that time, and you're projecting to me information. That information changes my conduct. I just fell under spell. So when I say spell, I'm not talking about hocus pocus stuff. I'm talking about stuff we do with as people, to other folks, and work with other people. So we have this place here, that the stage of our life, and that's why one of the slides in here, I think the second slide, I show a stage. That stage is defined. You know that's where the action occurs because there's a proscenium around it. The proscenium is this thing. It defines the stage. So your hair defines the stage upon which people play out their lives. They come to you and they say, and they don't know how to say this, make me better. make my story better, make my stage presence better, make people want to see me more. So that's why I called you art directors. In the theater business, your job is to say, we're going to lay the stage out like this so the audience will get off on it, and we're going to put these things in, and we're going to do this, and the show is going to go on, and I'm out. If the show goes up and does its thing, and I've done my thing, and my thing was to figure out how to connect those human beings through this by taking advantage of this. Remember, this is the thing that you can see across the room. Of all your senses at a distance, only vision and this are what people see. That's why hair is so critical. That's why it's so important. So that's what glamour is about. Now, if that's the case, you manufacture glamour in people. Cool, hoorah! That is just the neatest thing going, because that's the ultimate truth. We're actually confronting the truth of being human beings. We all are seducers. We all want to cast spells. We all want other people to like us and do things. And we want to do it in the easiest way, and we use our stage to do it. And you're stage masters. That's where I found out we have something in common. Because this is an interest in the area of anthropology for me. How do we connect and communicate between each other? Sometimes without saying words, but only looking, smelling, and sounding in other ways like something that creates a spell. Okay, if all that is kind of true, and I think it is, as far as I can see, all kind of makes sense, then we are in a very special place with our customers. Every time a customer sits in that chair, hi, Mr. Customer, how are you doing? That person has sat down and said, I trust you to help me solve this problem. And they don't even say it. It's a latent assumption. When you sit down with somebody who looks like they're just driven over by a bus, their hair is askew, their body's messed up, their mind, and what do? You start figuring, how can I reassemble this? How can I turn this into a class act? How can I take my art and empower somebody else to be more than something they are? So they trust you implicitly. You have a communication path with your customers that nobody else has. And there's one further thing about that communication path. In 99% of the communication that happens around the world, nobody violates the other person's personal area. You know that area around you is yours? Now when people get inside that area who you don't know, you do things, I growl. I find it very effective. Every country I've worked in, growling works. It makes a lot of sense. But you have this issue of space. Now they invite you to go all the way to the point of touching them. That's the maximum space invasion. Those people have absolute faith in you. Just every time you touch someone here and they just kind of flow in with the flow, you gotta realize they've given themselves to you completely. They trust you. That's why they follow you. That's why you build a business. It's all about trust. Very cool things. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that. And the reason I wanted to tell you that, I want to remind you of the mechanics of what are going on here and how cool it is. And how, by the way, no other business is like this. It's just, everything else is at a distance. Okay, real quickly I want to tell you who we are. We're going to go through a very quick series of slides here. They're going to nail a bunch of information down. Hi, I'm Barry Thornton. I just mentioned that. Oh, gee, memory, Alzheimer's. It all comes back to me. I've been here before. We are a company called Austin Medical Technology. And we build and develop awesome medical devices for doctors. That's who our business has been all around, therapists and doctors. And we have kind of focused on things that don't cut holes in you, things that don't put drugs inside you, things that are based on natural energy. Now, I said earlier I was a wizard. I really can't. I mean, I do make spells, because you make spells too. We all make spells on each other. But this is where sometimes this gets to sound a little fuzzy to a physicist. You use what? Natural energy? Well, yeah. It turns out there's two sources of natural energy that have shaped our existence totally. The sun, the Earth's magnetic field. Is that real simple? Those are the only two. But they're around us all the time. And our bodies have adapted to and adjusted to them and depend on them for growth. You know, basically why there are darker people at the equator than there are on the North Pole? Real simple, vitamin D. Because the sunlight makes vitamin D in us. And when you live under the sun all the time, you get too much vitamin D, so your melatonin skin darkens out of control. If you live in the Arctic, you get hardly any sunlight, so your skin goes translucent white to capture all the ultraviolet it can to make vitamin D. Pretty interesting mechanical thing. So anyway, we use these natural energies. Through our work, we found that we have 3 natural energies that when we combine them in a very unusual way, cause hair to grow. And one of them is a thing called laser light. Laser light is a very special light. It's made a little bit by the sun, but mankind, this is really something we can claim. And it's a way of organizing light particles so they carry extra energy with them. That's the easiest way to say it. We use 4 different colors of sunlight because we've discovered that the cells in your body metabolize, increase metabolism, and feel better when they get these different versions of light. We pulse a magnetic field around the whole area because we discovered that magnetic fields cause blood to flow. All right, cool. So we do these three combinations of things, we bring them all together, and people's hair grows. By the way, the whole concept was first discovered by a doctor in 1992. And what he discovered was that he was doing cancer studies on rats. He shaved the rats, put a little cancer on them, take a laser, go. In his notebook, he's constantly complaining about having to go back and shave the rats in the area that he did the laser. He never dawned on him he was making the rat's hair grow. He was just mad because, I've got to go back and shave that rat in the same place again. Because nowhere else on his body was the hair growing, but right here, where he was shining the laser. So from this bred a whole business, which today you now see laser combs, laser helmets, laser things. Lasers fight the major form of hair loss. So anyway, that's what we are about. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do good things for people. Because I come from the computer business. We did a lot of bad things for people. We made them crazy. We made our whole society go nuts. In this industry, we have an opportunity of affecting people's lives and making them get ahead in life, where they contribute, and that's good. And our customers tend to like us. They think we're cool people. So anyway, that's about what we're about. All those energies I told you about, we took and we put them in this machine, the man game machine. And you've probably seen it work a little bit at this point in time. You know there's an arm that swings back and forth inside. The reason we swing that arm around is I'm trying to get energy into every hair follicle. I go in from the sides, the top, the back, everywhere, just because the hair casts a shadow. And the goal is to get as many of these photons in the hair as possible. We sweep the magnetic field back and forth because we found when you move a pulse magnetic field, good things happen. How scientific is that? People feel better. They feel more energy. They feel more alive. We have a whole collection of videos of people giving testimonials. And one of the things you'll find in each one of those testimonials, which surprised us, everyone said, when I got out from this thing, I felt more energetic. Now, I know that's going on because we have doctors in pain therapy places that use this same magnetic field we build to help their clients who've been in automobile accidents, have damages, and have pain. So I never thought about it, doing it just for people sitting under it. But it turns out it's a very energizing thing. So we do a 25-minute session, and that's, by the way, we'll talk about that in a minute. What we sell sessions. That's what this whole thing's about. Do a 25-minute session. Beyond 25 minutes, the law of diminishing returns says we don't seem to get a lot of yield more. Below 15 minutes, it doesn't really do it. So I want to do 15 to 25 minutes. So we set the machine to 25 minutes. We bombard them with the 6 energies, and we call those energies halo. Because, in fact, when you sit on the machine, it looks like you got a halo around your head. And it is all light energies. It's like halo. So we call this halo. And we call the effect of it, what it does, the difference in the hair you would have had if you had not used it, And the hair you will have as you use it, we call that a main gain effect. So main gain does something, it has an effect.
What's a halo effect?
We do.
This is for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're awesome.
Thank you very much.
Creamer, sugar, everything.
No, we're just. This will let you talk to me faster, Will. We do only one thing, and we make new hair growth, but it has 3 flavors that comes in. First flavor is you got a client whose hair is weak, thin, and just crappy. It's growing, but it's not growing real well. The main gain machine will take those hair follicles and start to make them turn out hairs that are a full, healthy, big diameter with lots of energy in them. And after generally about, the hair grows theoretically about ½ an inch a month. You put somebody on this thing, you run 8 sessions with it. At the end of a month, you start looking at the hair, and just coming out of the bottom is a fatter version of the same hair. You wait another month, so it's had a month to grow and it's had a month to heal. And the bottom inch of that hair, ½ inch of that hair, will be thicker, more keratin, better cuticle structure than the hair before. And the reason simply is the hair follicle was tired and doing a crappy job. And we metabolized it, put energy into it, caused the cells to start growing vigorously, and all it did was come up to par. Just came up to do what it's supposed to do. From a customer's viewpoint, this is spectacular. I mean, where people have been using extensions to hide their problems, or have just had problems they can't get over, all of a sudden you got this thing growing hair out, it becomes a whole new field for you as an art director to work on. Because if there's one thing I learned years ago in the old rock and roll business, if the stage was bad to begin with, you didn't have much to work with. You kind of glued it all together and you did the best you could, but you can't really practice your art until you have good materials. So you need good hair. So weak and tired hair. Second thing, people who are losing hair. There's a period in life that most people in the country go through where their hair starts to fall out. 35 on, you just begin to lose hair. That's a slide in the back, and I can explain to you in 2 minutes why that happens, but I'm not going to do it now. We'll do that question and answer. But the bottom line, the hair begins to fall out, and it doesn't come back. You get follicles that are empty. This will cause those hair follicles to grow. So much so that even if the person is what we call bald, the 3rd stage, where you're just a patch, really horrible looking things, we can make hair grow on bald people. Up to a point. What we jokingly call a chrome dome, someone who's top of their heads, oh, she can play basketball. I mean, it's all dead. There's nothing we can do. If there's any flexibility in the scalp at all, and there's anything going on there at all, we can make that blood flow again and get those hair follicles to come up the line. So we can grow hair literally on people who are balding. And so we only do one thing, but we do it for 3 people. Kind of neat. That suddenly gives you, by the way, a lot of people that need this. Just some numbers real quick. We figure around 1/3 of the people in the United States have something called androgenic alopecia. It means you have a genetic propensity to have your hair loss. It's a result of a male hormone called DHT, dihydro-testosterone. And what happens is, the hair follicle sitting here, DHT comes along, touches the bottom of it, it passes a command to the hair follicle cell. Stop being awake. Remember in school they told you the thing about how hair goes through a cycle? You do 20 cycles in your lifetime. Well, if it doesn't wake up, or if the wake cycle is real short, we just burned up one complete cycle and you got almost no hair for it. That's what DHT does. That doctor found that lasers knock the DHT loose. Now there's chemicals that will knock the DHT loose. Chemicals like Rogaine and Propecia. But when they do that, they mess with all the hormones in your body at the same time. I don't know if you ever read a bottle of the warnings on a bottle of Rogaine for men. It says, if your breasts get big, if your voice goes up, it's listing all these things. Say, wait a minute, it's a sex change, dude. What's going on here? That's not what I signed up for.
There's a sex drive, too. That's the big thing.
And that's what it is. Because DHT is a major sexual hormone. It exists in men and women. You know, the difference between men and women is estrogen and testosterone. If you're a chemist and you look at an estrogen molecule and a testosterone molecule, you say, Well, these are only different by one hydrogen atom. They're virtually the same thing. They can flip over.